Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your WWE Raw post show for Monday, June 14th. Let's get into it. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining me here tonight on the Ringside Report Network. Monday Night Raw, another Raw in the books, the go-home show for WWE Hell in a Cell. Shout out to Lauren Cronish, Franco316, Angelo Contagonis, my man Angelo, of course, a member of the channel. Don't forget to join the membership. Click that join button right under the video. Like this video as well. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, do all the things that'll help grow the Ringside Report Network. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. I know that there's a big hockey game going on, and a lot of people that watch this network are fans of the Montreal Canadiens, and I know that they are in the third period right now, down 3-1 to Las Vegas in Game 1 of their series. And I know this because I have the game on in front of me. So I have the game on in front of me, guys, okay? I know you guys are big Habs fans, and I know you guys all have the game on in front of you as well. So I want to be down with the Ringside Report Universe, down with what you guys are watching. I was watching Raw tonight. I was not watching the hockey game, but I do have it on now in front of me, so if the Habs come back, I could kind of talk to you about it. But it seems like they're losing right now 3-1. We're going to talk about pro wrestling, though, here on the show tonight. I thought we saw some good pro wrestling on Raw. I enjoyed most of Raw. I thought most of Raw was good. Not a lot of bad parts, really. I mean, there were some kind of so-so moments, but overall, it was a solid episode of Monday Night Raw. One of the best episodes that they've had in a while. Not a lot of progression storyline-wise, but a lot of good in-ring content. The finishes were a little, DQs, count-outs, stuff like that. I wonder what that sound is. The finishes were, I don't know what that is. I heard it. Are you hearing it? I don't know. There's always production going on. I'm not always, aware of what's happening or what the sounds are. But I thought the matches tonight were really good. I thought, we saw some good matches as far as the in-ring product. Good wrestling. They have good wrestlers. That's the thing with WWE. A lot of really talented people work for them. They're just told to do things that are kind of a lot of the time. They're told to do things that are just not very good. They're given bad scripts. It's not their fault. The fact that they've made it to the WWE shows you that they're talented wrestlers, right? You're not a bad wrestler if you get to the WWE. There's something that, they like. I mean, you can be a bad wrestler in the WWE. I take that back. I mean, I watched Elias and Jackson Riker tonight. And we know why Elias is there. Because he's jacked. See the six-pack on that guy? If that guy is all natural, good God almighty, I want to know what he's doing. What is he doing? I mean, I'm not going to do it, but I'm curious. Because he is in tremendous shape, Elias. Abs and, huge arms, traps, shoulders. He's one of the most jacked guys on the roster. I was shocked by how jacked Elias was tonight. Just looking. I mean, he's always big, but god damn, man. Too bad the wrestling is just kind of... We started the show with Alexa Bliss in the playground. Oh, Angelo didn't like Eva Marie. He was disappointed with Eva Marie because we thought that she was going to wrestle tonight, but she didn't. Instead, we saw Piper Niven. We'll talk about that. Piper Niven, who is an NXT UK wrestler, who was in one of the Mae Young tournaments, who's been around the WWE for a while. And commentary had no idea who she was. They were acting like this is a brand new person that they'd never, ever seen before. I guess they're not watching NXT UK either. I mean, I'm not really watching NXT UK, but I've seen Piper Niven. I've seen her in one of those Mae Young tournaments, I think, maybe on NXT. Like, I've seen her around, right?
Special thank you from the heart.
From the heart. I've seen her around. And she was there with Eva Marie. So Eva Marie was supposed to make her debut or whatever. She comes in, and Piper Niven's right behind her, and she wrestles the match instead against Naomi. Piper completely squashes Naomi, hits a Michinoku driver that was pretty sweet to get the pinfall. Naomi got, like, no offense in. I kind of felt bad for Naomi. It was strange that the announcers didn't know who she was. They were acting like they'd never seen her before. Like, I can understand the guy there, Jimmy Smith, not knowing who she was. That makes sense. But Corey Graves and Byron Saxton, like, they know who she is. Eva Marie then announced herself as the winner. She goes, the winner of this match, Eva Marie. And Piper seemed really happy with that. She hugged Eva. Eva seemed kind of like, why is she hugging me? Like, she wants to help her, but she also kind of doesn't like her. I guess that's the gimmick. She wants to help her, but she's using her. Yeah. That was the thing that happened tonight on Raw. Piper Niven and Eva Marie making their debuts, completely squashing Naomi. That was not a highlight of Raw, but it was definitely interesting. I didn't hate the match. Like, Piper Niven looked good. She's a good wrestler. I like Piper Niven. Angelo's watching me and the game at the same time. That's the way to go. I'll try to cheer you up because it's not looking good right now. Hopefully they come through. The show started with Alexa Bliss in the playground. She recaps what she did to Shayna last week, you know, trapping her in the room and the doll and everything. And she's like, oh, Lily is being bad, so since we're going back on the road now, I'm going to put Lily the doll in timeout. So the doll is no longer there, which I think they mean when they say, we're going back on the road, so we're going to get rid of the doll. Because if they go on the road with a live crowd and they try to get over this talking doll or evil doll gimmick that's putting spells on wrestlers and creating fireballs, I think the live crowd is going to boo it out of the building. I don't think that's going to work. The presentation for Alexa Bliss completely changed tonight, and I was really happy about it. That was actually a big deal. Alexa's still got, like, voodoo powers, but the doll at least seems to be gone. So the Lily experiment after last week and after the past several weeks now with this gimmick now with the evil doll, I think the WWE figured out after last week, we got to stop this, pal, because it was not good. So Alexa's in the playground. She tells us that the doll is gone. And Nia Jax shows up in the backstage playground, and she's like, Shayna's going to see you at Hell in a Cell. But the last time we saw Shayna, she was, like, in that dark room screaming because the doll was, like, going to kill her. And we didn't see Shayna at all tonight. But Nia said that there's going to be a match, Alexa versus Shayna at Hell in a Cell this coming Sunday. Okay. What happened to Shayna last week? No explanation, but, you know, that's WWE. They're going to hope that we forget. And on Sunday, Shayna's just going to come out and wrestle some sort of match with Alexa, and there may be more voodoo with Reginald, because Nia had a match with Alexa tonight that was actually pretty good. It was a good match. They wrestled a really good, you know, tiny Alexa versus giant Nia Jax style match. They told a good little story. It was, like, good. They know each other well. They've wrestled each other many times. And this was Alexa actually wrestling a match. None of this garbage, none of this magic, none of this nonsense. This was a straight match. It ended by disqualification. Alexa hit her Twisted Bliss on Nia Jax, a move that I like a lot. It's really nice. No one else hits it in WWE. It's one of the nicer finishers in WWE. So that was cool, but then Reginald jumped in for the disqualification. Alexa had Nia beat. This was a good, solid wrestling match up until the finish, which is kind of a theme to this show tonight. But Alexa and Nia had a good match. Twisted Bliss should have been 1, 2, 3, but Reginald had to jump in to kind of, he like touched Alexa, and then the ref called the disqualification, of course. And then Alexa kind of did this like evil stare kind of thing at Reginald, and Reginald was like in a trance. So Alexa put some sort of curse on him maybe or something. Good match. The post-match, the finish, not so good. But as far as what Alexa and Nia were able to do in the ring, like, solid stuff. Solid stuff. Another match, Rhea Ripley and Asuka. Solid. Rhea, there, we had a clean finish. Rhea Ripley beats Asuka after the Riptide. 1, 2, 3, middle of the ring. I thought the match could have even been a bit longer. The finish seemed a little abrupt. Asuka didn't get that much offense in, but still, the match was excellent. I gotta say, I'm having a hard time picking match of the night, not because we had a bunch of bad matches, but because we had a bunch of good matches. Like right now, I'm thinking about it, and I liked RK Bro versus New Day. I liked Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. I liked Alexa Bliss versus Nia. I liked Drew McIntyre versus AJ Styles. All those matches were good, but a couple of those had DQ finishes. The Alexa and Nia went to DQ after Reginald jumped in, and then the Drew and AJ Styles match went to DQ and Bobby Lashley jumped in. And then we had a 6-man in the main event tonight. It was Drew and the Viking Raiders getting the win over Bobby, AJ, and Omos, which we'll get to in a minute. But that match was, the 6-man was okay, but I preferred Drew versus AJ. But I think maybe match of the night. I mean, the Rhea Ripley Asuka thing was good, but maybe the tag team match, which I'll get to here in a second, RK Bro and New Day. But this Rhea Ripley Asuka match was excellent. Charlotte Flair attacked Rhea wearing a very cool jumpsuit afterwards. That jumpsuit that Charlotte was wearing was badass. I want to see if I can get a picture of that thing for you. Charlotte looked super cool tonight. And the brawl was good. It was stiff. They were hitting each other with good shots. Charlotte was bleeding afterwards. She got into it there with Rhea Ripley. Charlotte also wrestled earlier in the night. Nikki Cross actually beat Charlotte by countout. Charlotte and Nikki were wrestling on the outside. Charlotte hit a fall-away slam right in front of Rhea Ripley, who was watching kind of on commentary, but not doing commentary, just sitting near there. So Charlotte hits a fall-away slam on Nikki. Nikki, flies behind Charlotte, takes a bump, and then Charlotte poses. Meanwhile, the ref is counting Charlotte and Nikki both out. Charlotte is busy posing. Nikki Cross takes the bump, rolls a bit, and then crawls back into the ring on the other side. It was a cool little count-out finish. It wasn't bad. Just a lot of count-out finishes tonight. The Elias Jackson Riker ended by count-out too. A lot of DQs, a lot of count-outs. But the match itself was all right. I'm a big fan of Nikki Cross and Charlotte Flair. And Rhea Ripley had a good night too. Charlotte started beating up Nikki Cross after losing the match to her. And then Rhea Ripley jumped in the ring and hit Charlotte with the Riptide and stood tall. Which is important to note because we are going into a Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley Raw Women's title match this coming Sunday. And Rhea Ripley looked particularly strong tonight. Which I think means she's going to drop the title to Charlotte clean on Sunday night. I mean, Nikki Cross beat Charlotte tonight by countout. Rhea Ripley then hit her finisher on Charlotte. Later on, Rhea Ripley beat Asuka clean in the middle of the ring. and then had a pull-apart brawl with Charlotte. It did strike me as a little bit odd as Rhea Ripley and Charlotte were being separated by all the refs and, agents or producers or whatever they're called. You had Jamie Noble. You had Hurricane Helms. You had all these people separating them. And they're all men. And it's just like a gang of dudes with their hands all over Charlotte Flair and pulling her back and stuff. And it's like, you don't have any women referees you could send out there to kind of... You don't have female producers? What's the ratio men to women producers in WWE? It just seemed odd. At that point, I was like, wow, there's a bunch of dudes and Charlotte Flair. Like when cops have to restrain women, generally it's like female cops that they get to do that. When they have to like search a woman, they'll get a female cop to do that. It should be like a similar thing in WWE when they have to kind of restrain the wrestlers. They should have some women able to do it. I thought Molly Holly was getting a job or trying out to be a producer. Like, if you see Hurricane and Jamie Noble, you can't throw Molly Holly out there too? I'm not saying it has to all be women, but one or two would have made sense to me. Here's Charlotte in her super cool outfit tonight, brawling with Rhea Ripley. Look at that one-piece like jumpsuit she's wearing, looking like a Lady Bam Bam Bigelow almost. On fire, Charlotte Flair. I like it. I thought she looked pretty cool tonight. And the brawl was good. It was a solid brawl. Solid stuff on Raw tonight. Even the Piper Niven Naomi squash was all right. Jeff Hardy got double booked for some reason. John Morrison beat Jeff Hardy by pinfall after the Starship Pain. What's Harold Schneider saying? Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate you. He says, hockey game mostly over. Sound off there. Ringside Report on now with a Dave emoji. I love it. Yeah, is this game over? It's 4-1 now. Vegas scored again. Wasn't it 3-1 a couple minutes ago? What happened? 8 minutes left in the third period. 4-1 Vegas now in game one. That's not looking good, right? 3 goals in 8 minutes. Can they do that? Seems possible, right? It's possible. Go Habs from a Habs fans out there. Of course, I got another big game in mind tomorrow. France plays tomorrow. Their first game in the Euro Cup, so I'm pretty excited about that tomorrow afternoon. Super chat. Oh, Brian Firth dropping a super chat as well. Thank you, Brian. What's Brian saying? Hey, Dave, what would it take for you to do a watch-along with Ring of Honor Best in the World 2021, July 11th? A watch-along? So I'd have to sit here and watch a whole Ring of Honor pay-per-view? I don't know. It would take a lot, I think. I have no idea. I can't really name conditions for that. That's tough, Brian. I have to sit here and watch a whole Ring of Honor pay-per-view on a hot Saturday night in July. Is that a Saturday or a Sunday, the 11th? It's a Sunday. I'd say that's, I don't even do watch-alongs for WWE pay-per-views because I like to be in and out. I could sit there and watch a 3-hour UFC pay-per-view because they're good pay-per-views. But I used to do WWE watch-alongs for the WWE pay-per-views, and it's just like, I can't, like, sit there and focus on a WWE show because it's not that entertaining. Like, it doesn't keep my attention. I've got to be doing other things while I watch wrestling these days. You know, I'm watching, but I'm also shopping for sneakers and other stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not fully invested in these wrestling shows because they're not that good. Ring of Honor might be a good show. I don't even know what the card is, though, Brian. ROH Best in the World 2021. Do they have a card?
Super chat.
Do they have a card? Let's see. Best in the World 2021. Have they announced anything? Jay Lethal versus Brody King. Josh Woods versus Silas Young. I like Silas Young. Who's Josh Woods? Oh, he's a young guy? Like a new guy? Oh, amateur wrestler? Okay. All right. Josh Woods against Silas Young and EC3 versus Flip Gordon. I'll tell you what it'll take. Some better matches. Brian wants me to name my super chat amount. I mean, jeez. I don't know. This card kind of sucks. It would take a lot, I think, for me to sit there and watch a card. And I don't want to name the amount because it's too much. I think it would be too much, Brian. Honestly, I think it would be too much. Jesus. Brian Firth dropping a big super chat saying ROH is really good. Jay Lethal versus Brody King. It's a big super chat. Angelo dropping a super chat saying, why are we talking ROH? This is a Raw post show. I don't know. I mean, Brian's dropping super chats and he wants me to talk about Ring of Honor, man. Super chat. What can I say? I go where the money takes me? What can I? But now Angelo is throwing money too, and he's saying we should talk about Raw. I'll do everything. We will talk about Raw, Angelo. Don't worry. Yeah, Jay Lethal is really good. Jay Lethal versus Brody King. But honestly, to sit there and watch a whole Ring of Honor pay-per-view on July 11th, it would take too much money. That's a lot. How long is that pay-per-view going to be? 3 hours? I need like $1,000 for 3 hours. Sit there and watch Ring of Honor pay-per-view. It's like $1,000. It's a wrestling show. Like, I'm watching so much wrestling at this point. To get me to watch any more, it's got to be top dollar. But I don't want you to drop that because that's stupid money. That's just stupid money for me to sit there and watch a wrestling show. I don't think anyone should pay that, to be honest. I don't think I should be saying that on the channel. I mean, keep dropping super chats. I do appreciate it. And you do kind of, bring life to the Ringside Report Network. But, it would have to be enough for me to buy a new pair of Yeezy foam runners. If I get, if it's like a new pair of Yeezy foam runners, or if you could just get me a pair of Yeezy foam runners in a 10.5, or I guess it's a 10. They don't have half sizes. My size is a 10 in foam runners. Get me another pair of foam runners, and I will do a Ring of Honor watch along on July 11th. That is your mission. Oh boy, I love it. Thank you for the support, though, guys. I really do appreciate it. It's just a lot of wrestling for me. I'm already watching so much wrestling and MMA. To do any more, to get invested in Ring of Honor. I know it's a good wrestling product, but right now I don't have the time. I can't do it. Brian First says 3 hours, $1,000 towards your AEW women's belt. Oh yeah, I wanted to buy the first belt. But I think it would probably cost me more than $1,000. I think probably Conrad Thompson has bought that belt already, right? Because they had an old AEW women's belt, like the small one, and then, yeah, and then they made a new one, and I was talking about how I wanted the old one. I wanted to buy it somehow, but I don't think I could afford it. And I think Conrad Thompson, the guy who does all those podcasts with all those cool wrestlers, I think he probably bought it because his belt collection is like bananas. There's another guy. There's a few guys who have really cool belt collections. The guy that runs American Top Team as well has a crazy belt collection. His name is not coming to my mind right now. What the hell is that guy's name? What the hell is it? Dan Lambert. Sorry, Dan. MMA, really good for MMA. This guy just, rich guy, put a lot of his money into the American Top Team gym. They produce so many UFC champions. It's a great place. And he is a huge, fight fan and pro wrestling fan. And I think it was on one of those WWE Hidden Treasure shows, they went to Dan Lambert's house and saw his belt collection, and it was ridiculous. For fighting and pro wrestling, like Dan Lambert has maybe the best belt collection in the world. So he might have that AEW belt. Angelo saying he'll be the only one watching it. Yeah, Angelo, but I mean, if it's $1,000 and he's the only one watching it, I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? If somebody wants to pay me $1,000 for a private show, right? If you want me to sit there and you're going to pay me $1,000 for 3 hours of my time, I mean, that's good money. Hourly wage, like how much is that an hour? 1,000 divided by 3. I think it's like over $300, which is pretty good for an hourly wage. That's like what lawyers get. And I'm no lawyer or doctor. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I would be stupid to say no. But again, I think it would be crazy. It would be crazy. Well, Brian, if you want to get some buddies together and cover the cost and hit the Ringside Report Network up for $1,000 for a 3-hour podcast, we will definitely do it. If you want to do that, sure. That's the price. If there is, that is the, I mean, that goes for anything. If you want me to watch a movie or a wrestling show or anything and you have a special request, if you put down $1,000, I will 100% do it. I don't think it would necessarily cost that much even, but that's the price that I'm naming. All right? That is my price. A private show of me watching a wrestling show. I never knew it would come to this, but I like it. I like the possibilities of the internet. On back to Raw. Back to Raw. Habs down, still 4-1. They got an empty net. They got Carey Price out of the game now to get extra man because they're down by 3 goals and there's just over 2 minutes left in the third. It's not looking here, guys. Not looking good. Not looking good. All right. So back to Raw. I'm talking about Ring of Honor and whoring myself out and so on. And now I should get back to Monday Night Raw because this is a Raw post show. Angelo says I will only sit through 3 hours of playoff hockey. Yeah. I mean, I would say $1,000. I'd even do a hockey game watch along for $1,000, I guess. But I really wouldn't have much things to say. It would be some pretty lame hockey commentary, my friends. Be like, he passed the puck to that guy. Who's that guy? Seems pretty good at hockey. John Morrison beat Jeff Hardy tonight. So Morrison beats Hardy. The match was okay. Hits Starship Pain, 1, 2, 3. Morrison just wins. I guess they're trying to do something with Morrison now that Miz is injured and Morrison's still around, which I think is good because Morrison's a good wrestler. This match with Jeff Hardy, though, was not my favorite match on Raw. It just wasn't, I don't know. Cedric Alexander showed up midway through the match, and then after the match cut a promo on Jeff Hardy saying he took him lightly last week and he's going to take it more seriously and he wants a rematch because last week he lost to Jeff Hardy. We go to commercial break. When we come back from commercial break, it's Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander. So Jeff just lost a match clean to John Morrison, who's not the most protected guy, right? He's not pushed that hard in WWE. When Miz and Morrison were going to lose a match, Morrison was going to take the fall more often than not, right? So Morrison beats Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy loses a match, then has a little match with Cedric and beats Cedric again. And that tells you where Cedric is on the pecking order. I mean, John Morrison is like here. Roman Reigns is like way up here, right? You can't even see Roman Reigns on the screen. That's how high he is. He's so high up, you can't even see him. Jeff Hardy's like down here. John Morrison apparently is up here. Cedric Alexander is down here. It's not good. Not looking good for old Cedric. Really shows you what they think of him. Having Jeff Hardy lose a match to Morrison, follow it up, then beat Cedric clean. And then the announcers, for some reason, were saying that Jeff Hardy had said that if he lost this match to Cedric, he would retire. But I didn't hear him say that. I think he must have said it during the commercial break. The announcers were pushing it really hard. And when they were saying that, I was like, wow, it's obvious Jeff's going to win. Really sucks for Cedric. Poor little Cedric. Poor Cedric. So Cedric Alexander loses again to Jeff Hardy. Then we had Team RK Bro beating The New Day. This match was very good. Another very good match. Randy did very little. Riddle looked fantastic, as did Woods and Kofi, as they always do. Randy did very little. But the match was good, so whatever. Randy did get the pin, though. RKO on Woods for the 1-2-3. Riddle was like dancing in celebration. Randy seemed kind of like annoyed by him. Riddle did the pose, tried to get Randy to do it behind him. Randy just walks away. So you would think that Riddle and Randy would be next for the Raw Tag Team titles, AJ Styles and Omos. But it doesn't seem like it because, of course, the Viking Raiders won a match, I think last week or the week before, a number one contenders match. So they are technically the number one contenders for the Raw Tag Team titles. We just don't know when that match will take place. It's not official for Hell in a Cell as far as I know. Right? So I don't know when they're going to get a shot. Maybe on Raw next week, you know. Maybe if they decide to add them on Hell in a Cell. Because right now it's only 5 matches on this pay-per-view. I could see them adding 1 or 2 more. If they don't figure out anything by Friday, don't be surprised to see this tag team title match added to either the pre-show or the main show. I don't think the Vikings are going to do it, though. I think if anybody takes the tag team titles off AJ and Omos, it'll be Randy and Riddle. I think we're headed towards a Randy and Riddle thing at some point versus AJ and Omos. You would think. You would think. Drew McIntyre wrestled AJ Styles tonight. I thought it was going to be the main event because, they started the match. I was like, well, this is kind of early. It was like 10:20 when they started the match. And I was a little surprised that it was coming on. Then I realized, oh, this isn't the main event. They're going to do a 6-man. Because the Viking Raiders came in, and Omos was there, and Bobby Lashley. And they did a 6-man. The Drew AJ match was really good, though. I liked this match a lot better than the 6-man that followed, because I mostly want to watch AJ Styles wrestle. I'm not so interested in watching Bobby Lashley versus, Ivar of the Viking Raiders. Even though Ivar is good, I'm here for AJ Styles, right? AJ took a hell of a back body drop in the match with Drew McIntyre. Ridiculous elevation on that thing. Ridiculous. I hope AJ's okay. Like, that was crazy. That backdrop that he took, fantastic. The match was really good. Ends in disqualification because Bobby Lashley was ringside for the match. Actually, he was on the stage with MVP and some couches and all his lady friends, right? And then he came ringside because Drew had done a rude gesture to him. So Bobby comes to ringside, and then Omos distracts the referee, and then the Viking Raiders show up. And then at a certain point, Bobby Lashley's ringside, and he goes for Drew, but Drew catches him, punches Bobby. Drew gets back in the ring, goes to continue the match with AJ, but Bobby's upset, so he jumps in, he attacks AJ, disqualification. He attacks Drew, disqualification. Then we have Bobby, Omos, and AJ versus Drew and the Viking Raiders in the main event, which was okay, but after the letdown of the finish between AJ and Drew, I kind of lost interest in the main event because it's kind of a nothing match, and, So Drew and the Viking Raiders, they wind up winning, by the way. After Omos got rid of Drew's tag team partners, Omos tossed each guy over the barricade, Ivar and Eric, and then AJ Styles was in the ring as the legal man at that time. He stumbles over, tags Bobby. Bobby seems shocked that he got tagged, still gets into the ring, looks at AJ Styles like, why did you tag me? Turns around, gets hit with a Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. Drew's team wins. Drew wins this by himself. The finish was really weird. It was not a good finish. Bobby is AJ's tag team partner. He tagged you, Bobby, because you were in the match. And even the announcers are like, why did he tag Bobby? I think he was trying to tag Omos, but it was desperation. AJ was so beat up that he had to tag Bobby. And they were acting like that is a legitimate finish, which it's not. Bobby's in the match. AJ tagged you because you're his partner. Get in the match and face your opponent. Don't look at your partner. Don't get in the ring and then continue looking at your partner and then turn around and, Drew hits you with a finisher. Like, of course. So Drew stands tall at the end of the show. Of course, Bobby's going to retain at Hell in a Cell. It's going to be Drew versus Bobby one-on-one for the WWE Championship inside the Hell in a Cell. One of 2 cell matches booked for this pay-per-view. The other one will be Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Rey Mysterio. The AJ match with Drew was a lot better than the 6-man. I could show you the backdrop on the WWE Universe Twitter page. They have that. If you didn't see the backdrop, it was a hell of a thing. Look at the elevation. Boom. Look how high he flies. Incredible stuff. AJ Styles, I say it all the time. I think AJ Styles being in a tag team and Daniel Bryan not being in the WWE is one of the reasons why I'm so disinterested in the product right now. The lack of fans doesn't help, but, AJ Styles against Drew McIntyre one-on-one on Raw just feels right. Whereas, a lot of the other stuff they're doing, not my favorite. I really like Daniel Bryan. Him not being in the company hurts SmackDown. I was enjoying seeing Daniel Bryan and Edge on SmackDown, and now we're just left with Roman Reigns and his cousins. And they have no opponents for him, so they're like, Rey Mysterio. It's not really going to work, though. So, I am enjoying seeing AJ Styles, but he's stuck in this tag thing, and that's where it's at. And that's Raw. Jackson Ryker beat Elias by countout. Elias and Ryker wrestled for a while, then Elias decided to bail on the match, which is exactly what happened last week, except Elias wrestled a little bit more this week than he did last week. Match of the night, I'd say, would be RK Bro versus New Day. I like that match a lot. Riddle is incredible. He did this thing where he told Randy to just stand there and put his hands out, and then he did like a flip off of Randy onto Xavier Woods. It was pretty cool. The match was good. Seeing if I can get that highlight for you, too. It was good stuff. Like, the Raw show that we saw tonight was quite good as far as in-ring. Was everything else perfect, No. But the actual wrestling that we saw was very good. I don't think WWE tweeted out a highlight of this, so I can't show it to you. Of the Matt Riddle flip. If the WWE tweets it out, I can give it to you. MVP is trying to, recruit Kofi Kingston. He tried to get Kofi to leave his tag team partner, Xavier Woods, did a little promo backstage, trying to convince Kofi that Woods is holding him back from being WWE champion. That's the angle next for Bobby Lashley in the WWE Championship. It's going to be Kofi versus Bobby, I think. That makes the most sense. Kofi versus Bobby for the WWE title after Bobby takes care of Drew this Sunday at Hell in a Cell. I don't think they're going to give it back to Drew here. I think Bobby's going to stay the champion. I think Bobby versus Kofi is going to be the next program. And then who knows? We've got Hell in a Cell coming up next. That's this Sunday in Tampa, Florida. No fans in attendance. We've got Money in the Bank coming up next in July on the 18th in Fort Worth, Texas. So there will be fans there because they're going back to touring next month, right? And then, of course, SummerSlam in Allegiant Stadium, big football stadium, August 21st. A big-time show. They weren't able to fill a stadium for WrestleMania, so apparently they're trying to make this as big as Mania coming up in August. The biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. But I don't know what you do with Bobby at SummerSlam. Like, does Bobby hold on to the title until SummerSlam, or does he drop it? Angelo dropping a super chat. Thank you, Angelo.
Super chat.
Angelo says, RK Bro and Orton versus New Day was my match of the night as well. There you go. There you go. We are in agreement. Brian Firth wants to know if Angelo is leading the super chat right now. Big super chats tonight from Angelo and Brian Firth. I appreciate you guys. You guys are definitely the leaders. Brian, I'm trying to do the math here. I think Brian's in the lead. Or no, I think Angelo's in the lead with that one. I don't know. It's hard to tell for me, guys. It's a lot of math for me to do. Let's see. 14. 14. This is good programming. 8, I think, Brian. I think Brian's slightly in the lead. Is that possible? By like a couple bucks, maybe. I think Brian is currently leading. My math sucks. 21. Yeah. Brian is leading by a couple, I think, Angelo. Just so we are clear. Or are we tied now? You guys might be tied. I don't know. You guys are both the leaders. I'm wrapping the show up anyway, so you guys are both winners. I cannot figure it out. Angelo. I'll try to do this for you guys because I know it's important. Huh? Yeah, I think you guys are exactly tied. I think you are. Right? I think you guys are tied. So there you go. Tie game. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you watching me do math on this Raw post show. That's it. I watched NXT TakeOver last night. It was okay. It was not my favorite wrestling show that I've seen this week. I think I liked Raw better, maybe. It was, what did I like on that? The ladder match was good. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. I thought they did a good job. Yeah. The 6-man tag was pretty good, too. I like Bronson Reed. He's pretty good. But I think the ladder match was my favorite match. LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. I didn't love the main event, the Karrion Kross, Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne match. I didn't love the finish. I didn't love it up until then. Yeah, wasn't my favorite. Wasn't my favorite. Tied again 2 Mondays in a row. That's right, Brian. Well, thank you guys. You guys are keeping this channel alive. I do appreciate you. Brian, if you want that Ring of Honor pay-per-view watch along, you know what to do, my friend. You could head over to donate.ringsidereport.net if you want to. And you can also go buy merch. I know, Brian, you're getting some cool merch. We're always going to get new merch out here for you. Go get yourself some merch. Look at that. It's a cup with my face on it, and I drink out of it every single show. You always see me sipping out of this cup. You can sip out of the cup as well. Oh, Angelo says he's up by 3 cents if that matters at all. Well, it does. Every penny counts, Angelo. We appreciate every penny of support from each and every one of you. Seriously, you guys, really thank you. Harold Schneider dropping a super chat as well with a nice, boom, cup of coffee. Thank you, Harold. Appreciate you. You guys keeping the show alive, keeping the channel alive. I thought that there would be nobody watching tonight because the Habs are in the playoffs. And it was the third period when we started the show. The Habs have lost. The game is over. Sorry, guys. I honestly thought that there would be nobody watching. I didn't think you'd be here, Angelo. I didn't think anybody would be here because of the Habs. But the fact that you guys are here and supporting the channel is super awesome. So I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I will see you again this Thursday night, 8 p.m., for Ringside Report MMA, another MMA show. We're going to preview the Korean Zombie Dan Ige fight coming up this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you missed our AEW Watch Along, the last episode of Wrestling Uncensored, you can check that out on the channel, right here on the YouTube channel. We also did a Watch Along of UFC 263 this past Saturday night. What a pay-per-view it was. Israel Adesanya, another dominant performance. We'll talk MMA with you again when we are back here on the channel. I got a couple days off now, and I am back on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Appreciate you guys, and I'll see you again real soon.